Hello, this is a video about Mick Foley. I'm doing this video because he's got a new DVD coming out, TNA DVD. Looking forward to getting it, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going to get it from yet, because they don't ship to the UK on TNA.com or whatever. So yeah, I'm not too excited about the set. I mean, Foley in TNA isn't great, but you know, there's some cool moments there. When he interviewed Cactus Jack as himself, that was an awesome promo. But yeah, not too psyched. Well, I gotta get it because I'm a huge Mick Foley fan. This is what this video is about. Now, I wrote an article about Foley's return in 2003/2004. It's about, you know, when he came back to WrestleMania, didn't really have a great match, and then redeemed himself with a classic against Orton. So if you want to check out the link in the description box, it takes you to my website where I wrote about this article. Or I wrote an article about this. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's a cool article, pretty personal about how I got into wrestling, and that was Mick Foley, really. So, first of all, I'm going to show you my Foley book collection. It's not complete. I haven't got the children's books he did, but start off with the first one. Have a Nice Day. Look at the spine there. That's how many times I've read this book. A lot. Actually, it's missing a page at the front. So I trained my friend, and I had this with me as always. And he said, "Can I look at that?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So he opened it, and I don't know if you can see there, but like the pages are kind of falling off a bit. So he just kind of picked up the first page with the quotes in it and just went, and just slowly pulled it out. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he went, "What?" I was like, "You just took a page out of my book." And he's like, "What?" So I just took it off him, and you know, I can't believe it. Well, luckily it was the quotes page, but you know, still got it somewhere. I'm not sure where it is now, but anyway. So, Have a Nice Day. It's a really bad old copy, and I originally bought it. I saw it in the shop. I thought, "Oh great, I like Mick Foley. I'll have a look at that." Pulled it out, and there was the Rock's book on the back as well, as in like a double pack. So I don't have that anymore. It's probably in the bin somewhere because that book was shit. This is still remains to this day, I think, the best wrestling autobiography. I mean, it's just funny. It's just got everything in it, really. The pictures there, and it's just like a great story of blood, sweat, and tears. The old cliche. That picture there when he won the King of the Deathmatch tournament in Japan. Those are some really interesting chapters when he talks about going to Japan. But yeah, I love this book, and I love this old battered, discoloured copy, you know. I mean, I kind of wish I had all the hardcovers and, you know, in good condition, but I kind of like old stuff like that, you know, you've read for so long. This one is Foley is good. About 10 years ago, I never used to really care for dust jackets, so I don't know where this one is. This is a really good book. It's not as good as the first one, but it's got, you know, it's got its moments, and it's talking about, you know, the majority of his WWF career. Well, not the majority, but like the latter half actually, and his commissioner days, the greatest matches of all time there. Also some interesting sketches of the original Mankind ideas. Yeah, it's a really funny book, and at the end there's like a kind of, I don't know how many pages it's a really kind of big, in-depth study he's done on wrestling and how violent it is and stuff like that, and deaths that have happened between kids wrestling around and investigating them. It's pretty good. He put a lot of effort into it. Third book, The Hardcore Diaries. This one, I like. It's not. Yeah. I think the trend with his autobiographies, they kind of go downhill a little bit, because the first one was about such an interesting period of his life, but The Hardcore Diaries is good. It's a good insight to the WWE, I think, and it's mainly about, which is the yeah, it's about the tag match at One Night Stand between Mick, Funk, Dreamer, and Edge, and how it was kind of building up and everything that went into him kind of putting the ideas forward to the WWE and so on. And yeah, it's really interesting, but there's a lot of talk about Melina in this one. Oh yes, he's got it bad. A lot of talk about the divas. It starts to sort of creep in the more You know, the more his books go on, there's more about the Divas, more about his charity work, which I respect. Which brings us to Countdown to Lockdown. I'm going to echo the sentiments of the WWE Evan on this. Why the hell is there a picture of Randy Orton Batista on essentially a TNA book? Now, the US release of this actually had a really cool cover with Mick sort of in the middle of a ring, looking pretty surly, and you know, Countdown to Lockdown. It's just a random WWE picture that makes no sense to the context of the book. Anyway, so this book is pretty funny, and that, let's see if I can try and find an example. He's put at the top of every page a wrestle meter. Let's see if you can actually see that. So there's like, he basically rates how much wrestling is in the chapter. And there's one where it's 0 and it says, go on, skip it. Because he's acknowledged the fact that some chapters in his recent books haven't got, you know, wrestling in them. So, fair enough, he poked fun at himself and that's cool. This one's also signed by the man himself. Little post-it note there saying Luke, so that he knew which name to sign. Got it signed in London. Went there especially for it. It was a cool day. Very surreal meeting, you know, a guy you've looked up to for so many years, 15 years actually. It's mental. Just to shake his hand, you know, the hand that has forearmed so many men. It's weird. But it was, yeah, it was awesome, and this is the pride of my wrestling book collection. It's not even a wrestling book as such. Oh, is that the wrong way around? No, it's not. Teton Brown, Mick Foley's first novel, and it's signed by Mick, and I love the fact that I've got a signed copy of this because it is one of my favourite books of all time, and that's, you know, I read a lot of books as well. I'm not just one of those people who reads wrestling books. It's just a brilliant novel. It's really relatable. It's quite graphic, you know, very graphic in fact, but it's just something really relatable about it, and I've read it many times and I love it, and I'm really happy that I've got this. So I just showed you that at the beginning. That's just a VHS. I don't even know where the actual tape is. Knocking around somewhere. It's just Madman and Mass. It's a pretty good video. Now, my DVDs. I don't have all of them. There might be... I'm not sure if there were a couple of others released, like early ones, like the Three Faces of Foley, and they're probably in the Attitude collection, I think. But I've got the Greatest Hits and Misses. Not the hardcore edition. They read the first edition of it in a big box like that. I'm not sure how common this was. If you pull it out there, I've got my copy of Hard Knocks and Cheap Pops in there. But it came with this. Have a nice day. Little beanie hat there. Never really used to wear it because it's kind of small. See, it looks shit. But you know, it's cool to have a little have a nice day hat. I like it. I like the little logo. So I just use this in a box to store. Just go on this one first. Mick Foley Hard Knocks and Cheap Pops. This is one of the first ever DVDs. It's the 9th DVD they ever released. And it's a great DVD. It's like a little documentary on there. And the first half is about his feud with Triple H and the amazing match at Royal Rumble 2000 and Hell in a Cell, No Way Out in his retirement. And it's really serious. And then he's like, right, let's just cut all the serious shit and go to the funny stuff. And then it's about his commissioner days. Some really funny moments. Some crudgely moments, as he called it, Christian, Edge and Foley. So those are all the chapters there. You can quickly see them. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much just summed it up. And there's some extra matches on this. And when I bought this reading, I didn't know there were. This is really cool. Mankind vs. Shawn Michaels from Mind Games. Classic match, one of my favourites of all time. Versus Stone Cold, a random match from November 1996 on Raw. The halftime heat match of The Rock in January 1999 when he won the title. And that was a really cool match, but the ending was just atrocious. Where there's kind of like an aerial view of The Rock going, no, no! And Mick said that in his book, it completely ruined the match, and, you know, oh well. Dude Love versus Stone Cold at In Your House, May 1998. That's a really fun match, awesome match. And then the final one there is Al Snow versus the Big Boss Man at Unforgiven. The Candle in a Cell match with commentary from Foley and who is it now? Kevin Kelly, and they just make out like it's the most epic match of all time. It's awesome. It says Al Snow versus Big Boss Man. Yes, really. Let's see how much time we got here. Let's try and edit this down a bit so I can get it all in. Greatest hits and misses, one of my favourite DVDs. I was so excited when I first got this, I can't explain it to you. So you got 2 discs, so there you got the first one that has matches from WCW, ECW, even Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And then the second disc is all about his WWE career. Just run through some of the matches. There's Cactus Jack versus Vader from WCW Saturday Night in '93, a very brutal match where Vader just sort of takes Foley's suggestion to raise a little bruising above his eye to just completely destroy his face. There's a tag team match against the Nasty Boys, that was just nasty. Match with Sabu at ECW, that was another kind of just mental match really. Another match with Chris Candido, that's good. Smoky Mountain Wrestling '94. Match with the Sandman at ECW, Texas Deathmatch. And this is where this comes in, the greatest hits and misses. I'm not quite sure why that was the concept. Who would want to see a bad match? And it is a pretty bad match against the Sandman because he gets knocked out and he forgets the finish, and it is just interminable. It just goes on for so long because he can't remember to stay down. In a Texas Deathmatch you have to, I think it's either you pin them and then they stay down for 10, or they stand over 10 and you pin them. I think it's the first one, and he just forgot to, he just kept getting back up, and it was just like mental. A classic tag team match, Cactus Jack and Raven versus Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer in November to Remember '95. This is an awesome match. It's just hardcore brutality and there's some really funny spots in there. It's a great spot where Foley rips off his shirt and he's got "I love you Uncle Eric" with Eric Bischoff on it, and it's amazing. And he gets busted open and then he puts, I think it's Tommy Dreamer, puts the t-shirt over his head so that Bischoff's face is on Foley's face. He starts hitting it, it's awesome. Match with Mikey Whipwreck, his final match in ECW, that was a good match. Mankind vs Shawn Michael, Mind Games, classic match, it's on so many sets. Fourth Guy Anywhere against Triple H, Roy's War, '97, that's a really, really cool match. That's the one with the classic clip of pulling piles over through the table on the stage. Match against Terry Funk, Roy's War, '98, that's a really good match as well. Austin's on commentary, putting them over big time, which I really liked, and Funk does like a moonsault out of the bleachers, it's ridiculous. The match Dude Love vs Stone Cold, the same one on this set. The Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker, don't really need to say much more than that. It's got the match he had against The Rock on Raw at the end of '98 or the beginning of '99 when it was aired. It's the first time he won the WWF title match. It's an okay match, but it's cool to have his first title win there. The pop was awesome. Cactus Jack and Triple H. Royal Rumble, one of my favourite matches of all time. I only wish they'd put the hype video on this because it's one of the best hype videos out I've ever seen. It just encapsulates the feud perfectly, and it didn't even have the entrances, but it's a great match to have on here. And the extras, it has his WWF debut, which was Jack Foley and Les Thornton against the British Bulldogs in 1986. They just destroy Mick. It is brutal. The Birth of Mr. Socko, Vegas vignettes with Al Snow, classic promos, a feature from Confidential, just like random fluff bits that are okay to watch. And then there's a match with Sabu with commentary by Mick and Coachman, and the Bash at the Beach match between Cactus Jack and Sting in '92, again with commentary by Mick and Coachman. That is a really good match, and he considered that to be his best match for many years. And it's brutal. I mean, he's taking suplexes on concrete and everything. It's brutal. But yeah, this is an awesome set, and there's also a hardcore edition out. It came out quite a few years ago. I used to have it, or I borrowed it from a friend. Third disc is awesome as well, but I'll try and get the hardcore edition soon. That's all my Mick Foley DVDs and my collection, my autographs, and my hat. I'll be hoping to get the TNA DVD soon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you got the time, check out the link in the description box, and check out my article on Foley, and leave a comment here or on that site, or just let me know what you thought. And yeah, cheers for watching this. I'll be back with a video soon, probably reviewing one of these DVDs here. So yeah, cheers.